and she's going a little schizophrenic on us, kind of losing touch with what reality of spring's supposed to be like. And let me tell you about something that's got me a little bit of spring fever, and it hits me every day. Hats off, kudos, and congratulations to the hard work of the groundskeeping crew, the landscaping career tech program, Mr. Ludwig, Josh Ludwig, the instructor there, as well as everyone that was involved, Coach May, also along with Coach Pease, in getting that field turned around down here on our baseball field. It looks incredible right now. The infield has been completely turfed. They now have just cut out the base paths, and it looks sharp. The mound's ready to be installed. Home plate is all taken care of. Behind the plate's taken care of. And it's all ready to go. And it breaks my heart to see it covered with a dusting of snow. But it gets that spring fever going, man.
I looked at that on my way in. It looks like PNC Park without the seats.
I guess we'll get working on those next time, huh?
They did. You nailed it, Jace. They did an outstanding job. I mean, I remember last week I was here. We were one day last week, and it was still hadn't been cut out. And they just started on the third base side. Then come back on Monday, it's done. I mean, they're getting ready to put that crushed red clay down like they have at PNC Park and at Progressive Field, and it'll really look good. I mean, it looks good now, but it'll really look good when that's down.
I had the outfield seats, and like Duff said, we're at PNC. Simple as that, huh?
Right.
We're just missing the green monster.
That's it, the green monster. We'll have to make the blue giant.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we'll have to build out there for the Potter baseball. Is that season's about to take off and everything. And holy moly, the bracketology's taking off. We've got all sorts of insanity happening in the sports world. JB, I'm going to let you take the reins. I know, Duff, hold on tight because we don't know where the show's going to go, but where we're going to land in this world of insanity of signing contracts in football, the bracketology of everything happening with March Madness, all the different shuffling going on with baseball, and now the preseason's begun. We've got all of our spring sports getting underway here at East Liverpool and around the county with all of the school districts. Where are we starting off with, JB? Where are we going first?
I'll tell you one thing, and I'm not, but if I'm a Browns fan today, I'm ecstatic.
Why are you ecstatic?
Because what they did in the last 3 days with their lineup and their roster, unbelievable. I mean, I think they got a shot at being very competitive this year.
That is not what I'd be excited about. I'd be excited about that somebody finally slapped someone upside the head and woke them up in that front office and said, would you please do what is right? Not what feels good or what you think might be okay, but what is right.
I mean, they've made some great acquisitions, and I mean, I thought they were locked in on signing the kid from Penn State with the first draft pick, but I saw they picked up a running back from the 49ers yesterday, and I knew they got rid of their running back, Crowell, who was very usable and productive for what they did, but they picked up a lineman from the Steelers. I think they're in a good shape to be probably the most improved team in football next year.
Holy cow. Look out, folks. Cleveland just might have a shot. Duff, what do you think about all that shuffling?
They have a chance of winning maybe 1 or 2 games next year, it looks like.
There you go. It could go nowhere but up.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Because if it goes south, buddy.
I'll take the over on Duff's 1 or 2 wins next year.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I'll take the over on the 1 or 2 wins.
Right.
I'm going to come out and say right now, I say they win at least 5 games next year.
I'm going to come out and say if they don't, I think Canada will have its first NFL team. Because they might just throw everybody right into the lake.
That's a possibility.
Set them off on a ship adrift in the sea. And the insanity of the signing that's going on right now.
It's monopoly money.
Oh,
it's just monopoly, and it's guaranteed money. I mean, it's not like if he goes to the first day of practice and he tears a rotator cuff or somebody hits him from the blind side and he blows a knee or Achilles, that's guaranteed money.
Guaranteed
He's getting $84 million for 3 years.
$84 million. Folks, if you don't know what we're talking about, that's Kirk Cousins. He's heading out west, up north, going to Minnesota with that guaranteed money coming his way before he even steps on the field.
And
anything could happen.
Minnesota got rid of their other 3 quarterbacks.
Insanity.
They go in a week ago, they got 3 quarterbacks. They don't know who they're going to play. Now they get rid of all 3 of them, and they bring in a new guy in. Teddy Bridgewater goes to the Jets. Keenum goes to Denver. And Sam Bradford goes to Phoenix.
Wow.
And then the Packers, they get rid of Jordy Nelson. Now he was an icon there. And,
I know.
And then I think the Patriots signed him today, didn't they, Duff?
Who's that?
Jordy Nelson,
I don't know. Jordan.
wide receiver.
I didn't hear anything.
Okay.
No one gave you a call and the update on that.
No, they didn't.
Well, I'll tell you what. Belichick gets a hold of me. I'm going to let him know. He needs to keep you in the fold on that. Of course, then again, I got a few things I got to talk to Belichick about. But I'm going to leave that for another day. With everything happening with inside of football, are they looking now to rebound from every sport has suffered from, which is a drop in the television ratings and the sale of commercial ads? Now, let me back this up with something. Attendance at games is up, not down. People have talked about how the attendance at games had dropped. The attendance at games are actually, as a whole in the NFL, increased. And the sale of merchandise is on its regular rise, as it does almost every year. It just slowly increases by like a little 0.%, what have you. But the advertising around the NFL and the TV ratings have dropped a little bit. Is this in response to that? This shuffling, this highly competitive type of a nature where their talent is flying all over the place?
Well, remember, we just got over the national anthem issue, and that has something to do with it. A lot of people turned their backs on the NFL, especially your legions and so forth, American legions.
Mm-hmm.
That's VFWs. They wouldn't even show the games. So right there, that takes away a lot of interest.
Yeah.
But with that out of the way, I think they could continue on the right path.
Mm-hmm. Just keep rebuilding that and everything. Takes us into a whole other issue with that, but I'm not afraid to step into it. So let me throw that out there for you guys with this upcoming year. Sports, individuals who play sports, the athletes, are they to be limited in how they can express a certain social idea or social protest? Should they be limited, or can they be a regular citizen like you and I and have a freedom to do something or not do something?
Well, I think they're entitled to their opinions, but I think you keep your opinions in the locker room. When you come out, you respect what your teammates are doing, and if everybody does it on your team, then I don't have a problem with it. But if one or two people does it, then I got a problem. You're a team player. You respect you may not like it, but that's the way it is.
And I'm not limiting it to this kneeling with the Star Spangled Banner. I'm not talking about that issue. I mean almost any issue, whether it's something on the shoes, whether it's a color of the hair, whether it is different issues that have been brought up in the past about it. Because I'd like to take a quick second and talk about the comment that was made by a reporter one time that most NBA players need to just shut up and dribble, and they don't have a right to express their opinion about anything. And that one kind of crossed the line to me of, wait a minute, you're a news person, so maybe you should just be reporting the news and not giving your opinion on something, because she was not an op-ed. She wasn't an opinion editor. That was not her job, and she said that. Now, that was my response back was, well, if you want to define my job, I'm going to define your job. My job says you're to report the news, and that's it. And every time you report the news, it better be factually based. I better be able to vet that fact and that point with at least 3 different sources, especially the original. I should be able to go to that original and have it verified. And if it's not, you're not doing your job. You know what I mean?
I understand.
It just kind of, that one kind of got me a little bit irked, but that's the journalist in me coming out.
I think that was you're referring to the LeBron James issue.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And you give it a couple weeks and you have a NBA player write a book that was then turned into a movie, and rightfully so, through artistic talent, not because of lobbying or anything. It won an Academy Award. So there's Kobe Bryant getting an Academy Award of the Arts and Sciences for the artistic achievement that he has just obtained with his contribution. So it means that these basketball players, these baseball players, these football players, these golfers, these professional athletes throughout the world do more than just play their sport. Thank God Arnold Palmer did more than hit a golf ball, because if he didn't, that sport would have folded 30 years ago. It would have completely fell in on itself, and you would not have the golfers that are out there today. But because of Arnold Palmer and what he did in creating such things as Golf Network, it expanded those sports. That to me is a little special. That to me tells me that you have to be more than just an athlete, and you have to be willing to take those risks. Regardless of your background, your race, your color, or anything like that, you take those risks and you step out. You're going to make mistakes, and you're going to have folks do the right thing as well. So, put my soapbox away. We'll put that away, man. We're going to dive into this incredible sports with a little bit of intrigue around it, too, and that is the NCAA basketball programs. There's the scuttlebutt still going on, and the investigation going into a little bit of this tampering with recruiting. And it hits really close to home with Sean Miller coming out of Pittsburgh, and it's going on down there in Arizona. They're looking into this. Reported by ESPN, over $100,000 was promised to a prospective player for signing with Arizona, and he was in his sophomore year, was it?
No, he's a freshman.
He was a freshman. It was his freshman year when this broke. So, and he signed with it. But NCAA bracketology, we're moving into the big March Madness. Holy cow!
It's right upon us, and we're played a couple games last night. There's a couple more games today. Already had a little bit of a surprise. Probably not a lot of people would have thought St. Bonaventure would have beat UCLA last night. They did. St. Bonaventure plays in the Atlantic 10. Local flavor at Davidson, who won the Atlantic 10 conference tournament last weekend, Peyton Aldrich, and from LeBray, and had a great tournament. Was player of the tournament, and they're moving on. I was watching the game last night after I watched Notre Dame playing the NIT. UNC Asheville, kid by the name of Drew Rackley played against Liverpool a couple years ago in the tournament. He's playing for UNC Asheville. I was watching him on the floor last night playing at USC. Played, was in the game, played well. They got beaten double overtime. USC is one of those teams complaining they should have gotten the tournament, and they were lucky to escape last night. So, the tournament's crazy. Anything can happen. I kind of like Virginia, and then they had a kid that got hurt, broke his wrist. Their sixth man, their best athlete, and doesn't help. But there'll be surprises, and and then this may be the year that's chalk. Maybe it's all the favorites.
Could be.
You never know.
Could be. I got to shout out though in an amazing turn of events we had last night on ESPN's Highly Questionable, which is a show that I enjoy to watch and everything, humor with it. But Dan LeBatard's father, Poppy, made the prediction that St. Bonaventure was going to win because with a name like that, someone has a Holy Mary statue and they're wearing the beads, and there's no doubt that's why they're going to win.
You mean just last night or the whole tournament?
No, just last night,
okay.
beating UCLA. But he took them over UCLA, so that was interesting.
Yeah, St. Bonaventure won that game last night, and their all-star guard, Shaw, he missed his first 14 shots. But he hit a key shot in the last closing minutes and put them ahead. They stayed ahead.
I was listening. I didn't catch the game because it was on, True Network or something?
Yes.
I couldn't find it. I just kept getting updates. And
185 on your
Is it
Comcast.
185 Comcast? I knew he would know. But
Absolutely.
I heard a thing this morning. Their coach was talking, the St. Bonaventure coach, about a guy that played at St. Bonaventure probably the last time they won a tournament game, and that was Bob Lanier. And they said they won the game for him. I don't know. Is he sick or is he having some health problems? Or
I have no idea.
okay.
I mean,
Claim to fame, Bob Lanier.
Bob Lanier,
Size 22 shoes.
otherwise known as water skis, and for others, a small house.
He was a big guy.
Now moving on into the tournaments, we're taking a look at the fact we have some right here in our backyard going on up at PPG Paints Arena. They're going to be hosting quite a slew of teams, including Duke and Villanova inside of that bracket. It could be a slugfest downtown Pittsburgh.
It's crazy. The teams they had gotten into the tournament up there, because you have three of the top five or three of the five All-Americans this year in college basketball playing up there.
Wow.
And, the kid from Duke, Bagley, Trey Young, and the guard from Villanova, Brunson. And it's just they got a good slew of teams. And if you want to see good basketball, then you should go up and see that, because it'll be entertaining.
It's going to be incredibly entertaining with everything that's going on with it. These next couple of rounds, Bob, coming up, who's your underdog favorite? Do you have one? Anybody that you're rooting for? Other than
I
St.
think
Bonaventure.
I think tomorrow there's a matchup that's interesting. Loyola of Chicago
Mm-hmm.
and Miami out of the ACC. Okay, I kind of think Loyola's going to pull a little upset there, and
All right.
I can see a few others on the brackets too. But I filled out my own bracket, and I'm not reviewing anything at this time.
Won't be revealed.
No.
Sealed envelope. He's going to write down the winner of the tournament, and folks, afterwards we will open that sealed envelope right here on the air, and we'll use that small little camera that we used to document the effect of what was inside of that envelope,
Yes.
and let us know about that, just
I really
to show you
like
the proudness.
Virginia, but with Hunter going down with that broken wrist, he was voted the sixth man in the ACC this year, and a very athletic kind of a. Remember John Havlicek?
Yes.
He was the sixth man on the Boston Celtics, the greatest sixth man that ever played. And that sixth man can be a key.
Absolutely. Be able to make it happen. Bob Huggins and West Virginia. Talking about having a deep bench and a rotation that's available to them.
How they keep getting crapped on every year.
Yeah.
I mean,
Why?
You know, he beats Texas Tech, and Texas Tech's a 3 seed, and he's a 5 seed.
Right. He's got to slug his way through.
I mean, unbelievable what they do to that guy, and I don't know whether it's
Terrible.
personal. Yeah, it's absolutely terrible.
Absolutely terrible how he's been treated.
Yeah, and it's just you don't figure it out. But sleeper team that could win a couple games. I'm
Yeah.
not saying they're going to win the tournament, but New Mexico State. The
New
Aggies,
Mexico State.
They got some.
How far?
They got some depth. I say they win 2 games this weekend and get to the Sweet 16.
So Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
Yeah. So I don't say easy, but that's you look for an underdog, a team that could win some games. I think they may be one of them. I wouldn't sleep on Kentucky. I think Kentucky's very capable. They're playing pretty well right now. They play with 5 freshmen. They got a year of the SEC underneath them. They come back and win their tournament. They're a team that could surprise. I think Arizona's a 4 seed or a 5 seed. I think they could definitely get to the Final Four.
What's going on with North Carolina?
Very
They
capable.
surged. I know that they surged right in the middle, and I say that I know that because it's something about them that won't leave my brain alone. I watched them surge in the middle of the season. It seemed like they were indestructible. Then a couple chinks in the armor coming through, a couple losses down the line against extremely good teams. Hard-fought battles all the way up to the end before they ended up losing the match. But I'm wondering, do they have it? Can they dig deep enough to be able to get into the Sweet 16? Because once there, I see them, making a march right for it. Do you think they have enough in the tank?
They got Joe Barry. They got an experienced guard. He was player of the tournament last year when they won a national championship. He's back. He's playing well. They got good young kids. They're deep. They're long. They come off the bench. Got the transfer from Pitt, Cam Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
He's there. He's playing well. They beat Duke again. Beat them 2 out of 3. Beat them in the ACC tournament last week. I think they're very capable. I don't think they can. I don't think they repeat, but I think they're capable of getting to the finals.
I think so. That they're going to be able to walk pretty good into that and see what's going to be happening with it. I love the way that the games are spread out around the country this year as well. It's going to be fun to see how everything within the first, second round goes along, and then we begin to slowly get ourselves down to San Antonio for that championship. It's going to be interesting. Going to be interesting.
You have 4 networks too.
Yeah, we'll be all over the place.
You're going to see all the games.
So we definitely got to keep a look at the old Chicago-Miami battle that's taking place, and that'll be this evening against Loyola and Miami, and just see.
That's tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah,
Tomorrow
Florida.
I had that down as tonight. My bad. So we'll take a look at that one and see just what's going to happen there with Loyola and just see what they can do.
Syracuse plays tonight. Syracuse is one of the teams playing.
Arizona State.
And Arizona State. And
Yep.
there's a team that both of them, either one of them, how did they get in the tournament? So, it's just I don't know. I don't understand how.
That's NIT now. No, wait a minute. No, that's playing.
Yeah.
That's a play-in
Tonight,
game.
it's a play-in game
Yep.
in Dayton.
So let me roll the dice on this one and just see what comes out here. What happens with Arizona? What happens with Arizona playing and moving forward? And this Sean Miller investigation turns out to be true. What happens if it's true? What are the implications that come out of those sanctions?
It's like they did with Louisville. I mean, they'll vacate. If they win, they'll have to give back the money they received for playing in the tournament. They have to throw that, refund that or return that back to the NCAA to be divided among the other teams. And it's a black eye. They get probably a little bit of a I don't want to say a slap on the wrist, but they're going to face some sanctions about losing scholarships, and it's kind of hard to believe.
Well, let's say it is not true. Let's say that it is proven, as Sean has said, that he's completely innocent. What does a program do to redeem itself after it gets hit like that, Bob? How does the PR process begin to work and coaching begin to work if you got hit by an insinuation like that? How do you recover?
Well, look, Louisville's situation. They have an interim coach right now, but he's done, and that's it. This is his last season for him.
Yeah.
You don't think they'll rehire him?
From the sources I hear, no.
Okay.
That he's done. He's done at Louisville.
But he made a name for himself. He did a pretty good job there.
He did.
With what happened.
I think he could go on to, some other area.
Yeah.
But the Louisville situation is just what it is, and when you look at it, other than giving all the money back, what did they really do to Louisville? I mean, they know they won those games. They know they won that national championship.
So they're going to take the trophy back? I mean, so what? Who cares? You know who won it. I don't even know who they beat in the finals. Who? Does anybody even remember who they beat?
It's not going to change anything. It's like the Joe Paterno situation at Penn State. They took all those wins away from him. Okay, so what? The man's deceased now, and they know they won those games, but it's just an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, it is. It's unfortunate. That's what I was wondering. How does a program kind of recover from a few things when they're proved to be false type statements as well as being true? A program's got to stay transparent from that point forward. To be overly active in proving what they're doing is on the upright and is completely, as I say, transparent. Anyone can ask a question and get an answer for it. Let's take a look at the baseball season that's coming at us. With March Madness is going to get fully underway, and by the time we get back together next Wednesday, we're going to have a bucket load of things to talk about. So we'll just figure out how we're going to handle that whole March Madness throughout this weekend and get back together on next Wednesday to bring it all together. But trust me, we'll be talking a lot of basketball. Baseball season coming at us right now. Teams have begun to practice here in the area. We wish everyone the best. Softball teams rolling. Track teams, nothing seems to stop our guys. I could have swore the other day I'm here after school doing some late night editing, and there was a herd of buffalo that got turned loose inside of the school, I thought, and here it was, the entire track team, boys and girls, in our 3-story building, doing incredible loops and laps, running, using the stairs, using what's available to them to be able to get everyone in shape during this inclement winter. Hats off to them. Way to do it. Way to stay up with it. What do you guys see coming at us here? We've done a lot of prediction and everything. John, your favorite team is the way that they run that front office, those Pittsburgh Pirates and everything.
Oh man!
Yeah, I'm not going to get you started with that, but I'm saying, what have you seen down there in that preseason? Starling Marte came into play. He has lit it up.
Yeah, him and Polanco both. But I saw they played a split squad game the other day and played 2 games and gave up. Duff made sure I knew this on Sunday. It's like 32 runs or 34 runs in 2 games. So they can hit the ball they want or think they can hit the ball they want, but who's going to get outs?
Yeah,
where they going to get outs?
Gotcha.
So, I don't know. They got they talk about how good the bullpen is. By the time they get to their bullpen, it may not make any difference.
Exactly.
Well, we're speaking of baseball. My favorite player, Neil Walker, was signed by the Yankees the other day.
He's touring New York.
There's a perfect example. Duff brings up Neil Walker. Did you see how much money he got? Did you see what he signed for?
$4 million.
$4 million. The Pirates couldn't have brought him back as a PR move.
Tell me.
For $4 million. Are you
Pirates
kidding
didn't
me?
even talk to him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
the
mean-
Pittsburgh kid.
I mean, it's crazy. It's ludicrous. They have so much ill feelings up there about their team and their ownership about how they do things. Do something right. Even if he comes in and he can't do anything, then cut him. At least you gave him a chance.
You gave him a chance, and you're going to prove to those fans
Yeah.
who said, "Why did you cut him?" This is the reason why, guys.
Yeah.
Look, this is it. You know,
There's a
they
perfect
had the chance and they blew it. And now the Yankees have a very compassionate baseball player. Give me a guy's compassion 10 times over all that stardom and all that ability.
Somebody that
because
wants to play. Somebody that wants to be there.
exactly.
And
Because that's what a team can be built around, and that's what will bring the talent out of other players who are
but
slumping.
it'll bring the people back to the park too.
Well, it's going to do that. It's going to put money in people's pockets. That's going to make them happy as well.
No, he had 26 home runs last year. Walker.
Well, you got to
He's
hit.
capable of hitting between 25, 30 home runs.
That's too many to play for the Pirates.
Yeah, Duff will tell you how many Pirates hit 26 home runs last
Bell.
year.
That's what I just Bell.
Josh
Bell's the
Bell.
only one.
Yeah.
Josh Bell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, McCutcheon had, but he's not there anymore.
Right. He
Right.
hit 26.
26.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's almost too many. You hit too many, you got to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can't be too good.
No, can't be too good with that. I'm hoping for the best with it, and that spring fever is really biting hard on us and everything, be able to get things going. We're coming up on the end of our half hour here on the air with you guys today, but I can't let this one go. I want to just tease this out there to the listeners and the viewers that watch us on YouTube. One, thanks for watching, and the other one is, Mr. Duffy, it will be an absolute pleasure to be able to read this, and I hope you accept this invitation. But the invitation is going to be offered for you for the 100th anniversary of the Karamus Echo yearbook to put together a listing of the top most outstanding athletes in school history. And I'm just wondering, how would that look? Telling a story about the top athletes that came out of East Liverpool in these past 100 years.
Now,
That-
when's this going to happen?
This is going to happen. I'm hoping this is going to happen.
Oh, it's gonna
before.
happen,
It's
sweetheart.
going to happen, sweetheart. Absolutely, it's happening, sweetheart. And it's going to happen about May is when you'll need to submit your writing in and your research, and it'll be able to be published inside the yearbook. That's an offer that's been extended to you by the yearbook staff. And
I wasn't aware of that.
we talked about it very briefly back in the early fall, and visited one more time there in the wintertime, and it's now been approved. They have the ability to have a feature article placed inside that yearbook. I was wondering if you're willing to accept that. Not putting you on the spot on the air or anything. And if you got to talk it over with the agents, I understand.
If it would help the high school, yes, I would accept that.
Oh, that would be fantastic. That would just be absolutely fantastic.
Are there other members on this committee?
It is you.
You have to put your staff together. You're responsible for your own
For your own
staff.
research staff.
Well, the staff I associate with, I don't know.
In other words, we're out of that job, John. There's no extra pay coming our
No.
way.
Nope.
If you're a smart man, you'll definitely keep me off that staff list.
And something like that. It was like when the Hall of Fame was formed back in 1982. I was on the first board. Of course, that's easy. The first time around, you take the top. Well, if you go back and you do that research, you're gonna cover most of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not gonna miss too many. But that'll be interesting.
That'd be an interesting feat to be able to put together and to be able to take a look at. It's an amazing collection of the yearbooks that we have, and a lot of photos that really tell the story of the different athletes and the different things that took place in East Liverpool and the events that surrounded them and what made sports such an integral part of the community here.
Yeah, I could give you a Hall of Fame program from any year. I mean, the most recent, of course, but it lists every member of the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And
Awesome.
I think we can
Start there.
work from that
That'll be great.
better easy.
That'll be great. Well, I wanted to just kind of surprise you on the air with that. I think it's an incredible thing that people can learn from and understand just the depth and the richness of the history of athletics here at East Liverpool and why we celebrate sports, talk about sports so much, and enjoy being a sports aficionado, someone who cheers for their team, win or lose, and dig deep for it and go out there striving. Well, boys, this brings us to the close of the show, and any parting thoughts? Mr. Duffy, I'll kick it off there.
Not really. I think we've covered a lot of ground today. So.
Fantastic. JB.
I just happened to. I was going across the screen here and I looked at something. I didn't realize this, but I see one of Duff's favorite coaches got fired today, so he's on the open market. Maybe that's a guy that Pitt can get. Tubby Smith.
Tubby Smith.
Tubby Smith won a national championship at Kentucky.
Memphis.
And went to Memphis,
Yep.
and Memphis is a program that Calipari left. John Calipari left, and didn't leave it in the greatest of shape. Usually, he takes his players, and they're there for 1 year, and they take off. So, Tubby I think he's a pretty good guy. I think he's a good coach, and I think he tries to do it the right way, and that happens. But next week we'll have we'll get down to 16 teams, and we'll see who was right and who was wrong. So
See who's going to make it out of there.
Yep.
The only thing I want to leave everybody with is, hey, if you know a Potter athlete that's training for these spring sports, hey, wish them the best of luck. Keep on them. Let them know how much you're going to be there for the sports, and get your plans together. Get on Sports Star, the Schedule Star, and Potter Sports, and be able to get the schedules put together. Get your program all lined up for yourself for this coming months. Whether you're visiting tennis, track, softball, baseball, make it happen. It's going to be a great season.
I think before we sign off, we should congratulate Howard Williams again for his appearance in the state tournament. He did win his opening match. He's only a freshman, so there's a lot to look forward to.
Got his feet wet, and next year, better things ahead.
You got that right. So congratulations out there, Howie, and to everybody out there, we're rooting for you. You've been listening to Bob Duffy and John Babalik here talking sports with JB and the Duff here on PNN.